This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Helping you find emotional, spiritual, and physical balance. What does your future hold? It's time to find out with Psychic Suzanna.
Yes, you're at your destination point. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. This is where you come every Sunday night to grow, to learn, and to experience things you may not experience in daily life. This show is centered around empowering you with knowledge that you may not get in other places. Please join us on Facebook, Susanna Stickney. On Facebook and Twitter. Life with Psychic Suzanna. You would have gotten an email that would have told you, our mail, telling you that who our guest is tonight. That's where you get a hold of us all the time. You go to Psychic Suzanna on Facebook and Twitter, you got us covered. When you send us what you're going to be doing, we're also going to have that covered. We're going to start making the announcements of the invitations I get so we can share it with the audiences here. Life with Psychic Suzanna, all about supporting you. Please take the knowledge you get from the show and pass it on. Please take the support you get from the show and pass it on. Let's share and make the world a better place, one thought at a time. We will be taking your calls a little early today, and those numbers are 1-800-543-1110 or 558-1110. Now, if you are on Life with Psychic Suzanna, you would have gotten an announcement, or KFAB.com, by the way. You would have gotten an announcement of who we have on today. We have a local Omaha girl. Is that correct, Diane Halpren?
Originally from Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, let's pop quiz. Where in Omaha, give me the street, you grew up in the high school?
I grew up on North 43rd Avenue and went to Central High School.
Marvelous.
And one other tidbit, I was the last graduating class from Omaha University before it became University of Nebraska, Omaha.
Oh, my God, a little bit of history here. How cool is that? That's quite a statement. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to be talking about your book, which is called Resides, Conversation with Dad. And this book is available all over the place. But first, I want to ask you a couple questions.
That'd be great.
I do want you to know that Diane has been on with us before about another book she worked, and that was called Lives Well Lived. That was on February 28th. Be sure and check that out. You'll find out Diane talks with authority, which is why we have you here, Diane. You know what you're talking about, and that's so important. Now, mirror work.
Yes.
Mirror work is something you do with your clients all the time, correct?
It's true.
All right. Tell me what mirror work is.
We have a tendency to be very self-judgmental. And when we look in the mirror, usually it's functional to see how we look.
Right.
Fix our hair, fix our makeup, straighten our tie. And when we do that, sometimes we're always evaluating, how do I look? How do I appear? What will other people think of me? The kind of mirror work I'm talking about is really going deeper into our own eyes to make contact with our soul. And just to kind of take you back to how this thing all came about. 1984, my grandmother, who I wrote the book about, Bubby Jenny Epstein, had passed away. And the place where I lived in Manhattan Beach, California at that time, there was a room in the back of the house where I did the spiritual and therapy work. And there was this floor-to-ceiling mirror. And I had just gotten the news that she had passed. And I had this thought that my Bubby wouldn't be there anymore to give me that great, you are the best hug. It was in her eyes that I could see who I was, and she saw me when I couldn't see myself. And as I realized that she wasn't going to be there, that unconditional love container, to see me with those eyes, I happened to glimpse my own eyes in the mirror and realized that I had to love myself the way she did. And I just saw those eyes recede so quickly in the back of my head, and I thought, oh my Lord, what a daunting task. But I realized I wanted to learn how to love myself like that, because now I had to be the one to love unconditionally. So in that opportune moment, I caught my own eyes and had a glimpse of how far away I was from really loving myself like my Bubby loved me. And it was from that the whole technique developed.
Well, and one of the important things that I said is that if you can't love yourself, you can't ask anyone to love you.
No.
If you can't support yourself emotionally, you can't look to another for support emotionally. It has to begin within us. And through the eyes, and I'm trying to find out, do you remember what page has the great quote on the eyes on here? I was looking in your book, and I must tell you, Sides Conversations with Dad is a great book about this mirror work that she has learned to. And how did you come to the idea of? Well, we'll look at that quote back. I've got a couple of quotes that I thought were incredible in here.
Oh, great!
How did you one step farther to learn to not just touch your inner soul, but to take a step farther and touch the spirit world? How did that come about?
Well, I've been really connected to the spirit world my whole life. I've read the Tarot for 35 years. And to be honest, it kind of ran in my family. Dreams, prophetic dreams, seeing spirits after they had passed. My grandmother's sister, her name was Ida Borison, had that kind of quality. And I thought to myself, if I can help people make contact with their own soul through their eyes, I made contact through my own soul, through my eyes, and really learned to love myself in that way, to see myself, not all the projections or all the junk that I had taken on that maybe people had thought about me, but really seeing my own soul. And that soul was really reflected in me as an infant. My family's a laugher. So what I also realized is that my dad and I have the same eyes. I look like my father, and that his eyes
do.
And his eyes and my eyes are the same. And I thought, if I could make contact with my own soul through my eyes, and I share my father's eyes, and I have a very deep relationship with my father, I have a hunch that if I look into my eyes and don't expect anything, show up, stay present, tell the truth, and don't be attached to the outcome, with the intention of making contact with my father, that it would come to pass. I didn't necessarily know how, but I knew that it would.
Say those 4 things again. That was a powerful thought mechanism to show up. Go ahead.
And these 4 things come from Angeles Arian's book, The Fourfold Way. And it's a recipe for life. Mm-hmm. It's show up, stay present, tell the truth, and don't be attached to the outcome.
Well, that's marvelous. So you ventured on to this communication with your father, who had passed away how long ago?
It was 9 years, April 5th.
Okay.
So 2003, he passed away.
We're going to take a small little break, Jim, and we're going to play a little commercials. Right now, I'm talking to Diane S. Halpren. She wrote the book, Sides, Conversations with Dad. This is how she learned to communicate with the other side through the mirror. And we're going to ask her, is this available to everyone to do? We'll be right back here. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB, the only place you need to be on Sunday night at 7:30.
Psychic Suzanna.
Can't get through on the radio show? Call Psychic Suzanna anytime at 712-276-9349. That's 712-276-9349. Or visit her webpage, PsychicSuzanna.com.
Yes, you're exactly where you need to be. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You know, you can always find us at PsychicSuzanna.com, where you get a free question. You join us on Facebook, Susanna Stickney, or Twitter, Susanna Stickney. That gets you to know what I am each day I place out an intention that I'm working on. I ask for you to join me in that intention. This show is about empowering you one thought at a time. We're here to support each other, whether we know it or not, so let's do it. Join us every Sunday night, and if there's a show you want to hear about or talk about, if somebody's helped inspired you, if you play music, you can hit me up on Susanna Stickney on Facebook and send me a message. We'll talk. We'll bring it to the airs for others to learn as you're learning. KFAB.com, the only place you need to go for all the news, weather, and sports in the area. Only place you need to have the dial to be honest with you. This station keeps you in charge of all knowledge you need to know. So keep it right here, 1110. If you're a friend of mine on Life with Psychic Suzanna on Facebook, you would have gotten the message that said, Diane S. Halpren is here. She has written the book, Resides, Conversations with Dad. The cool thing about our Diane is that she is a native Omahian, correct?
Correct.
And you came back to Omaha to celebrate Passover?
I came back actually to celebrate this book. April 5th was Dad's 9-year anniversary of his passing, and I called together my family in honor of his passing to celebrate the book, and all of my father's siblings, except one, all of my cousins were there.
Marvelous.
And we celebrated.
Wonderful, wonderful. I want to read you a little bit of a portion. Tell me how this little portion that I want to read about was it on page 70? I'm not on page 70. Darn it. There's a good quote on 58 too, but we'll talk about that one a little bit later. I've got all these little paper marks of all these places that I thought was good about this book. Tell me about, and let me read the quote from your dad, if I may. Tell me about how this was set up in your contact with the other side, your father, how this message came across.
Okay, do you want to read the quote?
Well, I want to tell you that I want you to say I will pay myself to pay, what? I will tell myself to pay attention. I had to be diligent about not interpreting that look as anger or displeasure with me. And you ask your father, can you clarify that look coming from your eyes? And what I find is interesting is that a lot of people are afraid of looking in the eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they're afraid of the eye contact because they feel that as it is, the eye is ill. And this is from your father. Now you read your father's part.
So I had just asked him what that look was because, as I said, I looked like him. So all the markers on my face with my eyes, I could have interpreted as anger. And so I asked him to clarify, Dad, what is that look? Can you clarify that to me? And he said, yes, honey, I can. Eyes communicate a message from the inside out, as well as from an external appearance. In physical form, a particular look was reinforced with body language, tone, volume, and intensity. In other words, a physical experience often defines or frames what the eyes are communicating. When you encounter me now through your own physical instrument, you have markers, physical cues on your own body that define the way my eye might have looked in the physical reality. So, Dad, I'm seeing an old version of you. Mm-hmm. Exactly, Diane. And now you have no physical markers to which you can respond or react. So you're given the opportunity to go inside the eye, to be received into the eye for a different perspective.
Wonderful.
So what I realize is that all of us assume that when we see a look, especially on those people that we love, that look means something. And then we jump to conclusions, and then we have a reaction to it.
Right. And we can actually be terrified or not feel like we can approach someone because of the look we get. Go ahead.
Exactly. So I had this knee-jerk reaction that when I saw that look when he was physically alive, that meant he was angry. So I was starting to get defensive, and I thought, wait a minute, this is his eyes through you now. So find out what the story is here before you just react and get angry or defensive. And so realizing that when you make contact with somebody, whoever they are, this side or the other side, through your eyes, it's allowing yourself to breathe and just allow what's really being communicated through the eyes to kind of settle on your soul, just kind of take it in. And when you breathe and not get reactive, you just let that look kind of settle and be open to what's being communicated.
So one of the perfect lessons is not to own the look.
Yes.
Not to own the look.
That's it.
Not to own the reaction of another.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So in this, now, is this something that, after reading your book, which is, we're going to talk about a couple other quotes, is this something that other people can do through mirror work?
It is. My dear friend and heart friend of 46 years, and business partner, Mary Brahaney, and I have a business called Life Designs. And we're creative arts therapists, dance therapists, art therapists, marriage family therapists, life coaches. And what we do through our work.
Don't pound the table, honey.
Sorry.
Yeah. You can tell you're an expressive woman. Go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
But through our work, what we do is we help people through the arts, and mirror technique is just one of many techniques that we use, to really be in contact with themselves, to live a life that is joyous, fun-filled, expressive, and not get boxed in by a small definition. So what we first help people to do before they make contact with people on the other side, and a workshop that is in development right now, is conversations with yourself. That you need to make contact with your own soul and really feel comfortable with yourself before you use the mirror to try to make contact with people that have passed.
I sometimes worry about people trying to make contact with the other side so rapidly. What is that? What is that fear that is making them do that?
Because until you really have a sense of your own, there's a Yiddish expression, mishigas. And mishigas is a word for craziness, or your own uniqueness. Mm-hmm. Until you really have a sense of where you get caught, and where you tend to be self-judgmental, or where you tend to get terrified, then if you go looking in the mirror for something beyond yourself, you leave yourself open in a way that is not healthy. I mean, I'm a guide. People work with me to do this very thing. But first we start with themselves. Mm-hmm. And only after there's a real sense of self-loving, which takes a while. Because what I found in this work, people can barely tolerate themselves. That's where I started. So you have to learn to love yourself and be comfortable with yourself before you use the mirror to go looking for something beyond yourself.
All right. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna. Again, our commercial breaks, because this is a station that makes the world better by telling you about a good people who handle our shows. Right now, we're talking to Diane S. Halpren. She's written a book, Resides, Conversations with Dad. We will be right back. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna. You don't want to touch that dial. This is the place you need to be every Sunday night at 7:30.
Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
Wow. Married to a Marine. That was great, Jim. I got to tell you. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. This is your destination point on Sunday night for things that will help and empower you to grow. We're all about helping you feel better every day. Please join us on Facebook. Susanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter. I send out an intention every day that I'm working on. I ask that you join me and that we work together to build a better world one thought at a time. This is your destination point. PsychicSuzanna.com gives you my schedule. Also, I'm back in town this week, so check it out. And also, PsychicSuzanna.com also lets you ask a free question, so feel free to go there and send a question. Also, KFAB.com. We have Diane S. Halpren here. I'm really pleased with her, how much knowledge she has about so many things as we're talking with her. Besides her book, Conversations with Her Dad, is probably just the beginning. We were talking off air about a conversation you had, Diane, and can you run it down in about a minute and a half? The conversation about laughing. Are you ready, Diane?
Yeah.
You're talking to your dad.
Yes.
And he calls you Dina?
Dina Sora is my Yiddish name.
Dina Sora. You know what, Dina? Laughing throws open the heart and intensifies your luster. It shines light on your being. Laughter dispels whatever you think is ailing you. It takes the air out of the bad idea. Isn't that profound?
I love that one.
Taking the air out of a bad idea. Only as you are laughing do you see how truly bad that idea was really. So how did you come to this conversation with your dad about the humor of life? Because he wasn't very humorous in life, was he?
Oh, he was hysterical.
Was he?
My dad had a great sense of humor, and he was one of the best storytellers, and he could do anybody.
I love that.
I mean, he was incredible that way, and when he laughed, he'd lose it big. Mm-hmm. But I was talking to him this particular night because I was going through a process called Rolfing.
Oh, my God. I've heard about Rolfing.
No, it's actually a wonderful thing. I've done that over the last several years. And what it does is it really brings the body back into alignment. And as it does that, it really releases old holding patterns in your body. Mm-hmm. And as you release old holding patterns, old ways of processing information starts to change.
We'll have to be right back. We're talking to Diane S. Halpren. She's telling us about humor. Her dad is telling us about her humor through her mirror work that she does and explains and tells us about in the book, Sides, Conversations with Dad by Diane S. Halpren. We'll be right back. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna, 1110 KFAB. You're right where you need to be. Stay tuned. More growing ahead. You are certainly where you need to be. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Now, please find us every week on PsychicSuzanna.com. Find out where I'm at. Send a free question. Ask a question. See the schedule. Go to KFAB.com. This will be going up online, so you can go on to KFAB.com and listen to it on Tuesday. Scott gets it up really well there. By the way, I hope you're staying tuned 100% to 1110, because Scott doesn't let much go. I mean, he really is that an investigative kind of stinky reporter. You know what I mean? You do know what I mean, don't you, Jim? He gets into everything.
Oh, yeah. Hot Scott?
Hot Scott. Yeah. Boy, he doesn't let you play any games when you're on his show.
No games to be played.
Not with Scott, but in the morning show, all the news you need to know in the moment, it's just always right there on 1110 KFAB. By the way, please join us on Facebook, Life with Psychic Suzanna, where it gives an inside scoop of who's coming on. Susanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter. I give an intention out every day. I want you to join me with that intention. Let's make the world better, one thought at a time. And yes, our thoughts do matter, and we can create the world with how we think about it. I've had this wonderful guest on, and I'm a little bit sad about this, Diane. I've got Diane S. Halpren from Sides, Conversations with Her Dad. This is her father, who has passed over. By the way, do you know what my favorite quote about death is?
No.
Death is like taking off a tight pair of shoes.
Amen.
Yeah. That who we are is first a spiritual being, and we just inhabit the body, and Dad is very much alive. So what would you like us to know about this book, Sides, Conversations with Our Dad? Tell me what you'd like to, when a reader picks up this book, what would you like them to come away with? What thought?
That it was a labor of love. And I want to get this book into the hands of anyone who loves and is, or will be mourning the passing of a loved one. Because this brings such solace, hope, and renewal. And what I hope for, the highest hope, would be that the people that read this book will be encouraged to begin or continue communing with loved ones who have passed on.
Marvelous. Marvelous. And one thing that I like is the communication has such profound lessons in it.
Thank you.
I mean, we're not just, you know, you're not talking about what the lotto number is coming up. You know, I'd be one of those asking, what is the lotto number? But these are profound conversations. Of all the conversations you have with your dad, and you still continue?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And this book took 9 years to write. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So in your conversations with your dad, is there one that really hit home and opened you to more than another?
You know, I think it was on my 60th birthday. I had asked him that who did he see now in me? I always valued his perspective, and, you know, who did he see? And he gave me just this beautiful image, and the image of my soul. He described, and it was from a place in the Valley of Fire in Nevada. And it was this very harmonious, integrated image of mountains, rounded mountains, grandmother and grandfather mountains, that was supported by the whole picture and the terrain. And that level of integration is what he saw in me. And that he saw me showing up much more directly, much more joyous, much more loving, much more self-forgiving. And that really, really resonated. And actually through that conversation, I thanked him and my mother, who, thank God, is still here. She's 94. Mm-hmm. And let them both know that they're the greatest gifts I would ever have. So I've always appreciated and loved my family. I come from an incredible family. Mm-hmm. But that particular description of my soul from my father's vantage point just reflected to me the magnanimous love that I have been given, and now I'm capable of extending out.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I noticed in one part of the book he talks about you being freer with your emotions.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great if we could all learn to embrace our emotions and see the light that is within us?
Yes.
I mean, I mean, that is my goal. That is my goal, is to help others to see the light they have within us. You have shown us a very big light with this book, Sides, Conversations with Dad. Wonderful, wonderful quotes all through the page. I've got 8 pages marked, ready to read on air. Unfortunately, time doesn't allow it. So can you give us how we can find the book, how we can find you?
Absolutely.
And your wisdom?
Websites, www.dianehalpren.com.
Halpren is spelled Halperin.
Correct.
Do we have to use the S?
No.
Okay.
It's DianeHalpren.com. Also, lifedesigns.net. You can go to either that directly or to DianeHalpren.com and hit the tab for Life Designs to find out about Mary Burhaney's and my workshops. To buy the book, go to that website or go to atticusbooks.com or Amazon, or you can download the book onto your Kindle at Amazon.
Isn't that amazing? So you could go to Kindle today and download it. I'm in technology.
To Amazon right now and download it.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
A lot of us text, by the way, Diane.
I know.
I want to say that, honey. Okay, go ahead.
And
Finish.
finally, phone 310-508-6755. And I'm back in Omaha every 3 months.
Okay. We have Cameron and Karen on the line. We're going to take a break. We're coming back to you two. Stay tuned. And the time to call in now is 1-800-543-1110 or 558-1110.
Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
Mântuitorul Hristos, cel ce te-ai întrupat și de ceruri nu te-ai despărțit.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You are listening to what, Jim?
I have some guys that are with a Christian Orthodox organization over in Romania. They're doing an Easter song, these 6 religious guys in their black robes. But, from Romania. I found this on YouTube.
And today is my Easter, and for all of you out there who are Eastern Orthodox, or if you're not, Christ is risen, and the response we always give is, indeed he has. You know, with Christ having risen, it gives us the ability not to fear death, because he trampled down death and made powerless the devil. So we live with the joy, and with this joy, this is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Please find us here every Sunday night. That is where you're going to come for all the information you need to find, all the things you want to hear about. We are here to take care of what's ahead for you. We try to look for information that will guide you in your days that are to come. Next week, I must tell you, we've got, this is maybe a personal thing with me, but we have Pam from the Humane Society here. You know, all of us who have adopted animals or have animals, sometimes they get to be a little bit of a problem. And so we're having Pam from the Humane Society is bringing in a trainer who's going to guide us into understanding our things a little bit better. Okay, understanding how to understand our pets a little bit better. Okay. By the way, check us out on Life with Psychic Suzanna. That's where you get the down update. Also go online to Susanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter. I'm monkeying with my iPad very bad, because a little bit later, if you're a friend on Susanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter, I'm going to put out the announcements you sent me, and we'll let everybody know what our family on Facebook is doing. Right now, I want you to be sure and give us a call at 1-800-543-1110. R558-1110. Right now, we're going to go to the phone. We're going to start with line 3. And we got Evan on the phone. Hello, Evan.
How's it going?
It is going so good, Evan. Evan, first of all, let's talk. Where do you live?
Fremont.
Okay. Evan, do you drive and drink?
What's that?
Do you drive and drink?
No, I don't.
Okay. Someone around you must be doing this, because I feel a little bit of a problem. Okay? So I want you to stay away from anybody drinking and driving. As a matter of fact, after your conversation, we're probably going to talk about the MAD thing that they're doing this week to help understand children so they don't drink and drive. But Evan, one of the things I want you to know is you're very sensitive. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, quite frankly, I've got a lot going on in my life right now.
Okay, but let me tell you what, though. You take everything a little too much. You hold on to everything just a little bit too much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I can understand that.
Okay. I need you to start thinking of yourself as water. And by the way, water is therapy for you. But yeah. I want you to start thinking about yourself as rolling through the debris that comes your way.
Uh-huh.
See, part of the problem is you hold on to the problem and you think about it, trying to figure it out. And sometimes we just have crazy things that happen to us. Okay?
Yeah.
So I just want you to roll through it. Now, you have a question, but you're not married, are you?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I guess it depends how you see marriage. I'm going through a divorce. Not an easy one at that fact.
It's hell. It's hell. It shouldn't be easy, should it?
No.
If it had any value, it wouldn't be easy.
Yep.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
3.
And what is her name?
Aubrey.
You will be her father all of her life. You will be the representative that she has of what a good man is. No one will take that from you. And I don't want you to worry about it. Okay?
Yeah.
You do know the relationship was a little manipulative?
Yeah. Now that I'm kind of
away from it, it was a control mechanism for you. Because you don't stand up. I need you to stand up for your daughter and stand up for your future.
Yeah, I'm just, right now, I'll always stand up for my daughter, whether it be to another person I'm involved with or anybody for that fact. But right now, I've kind of wondered, my grandma passed away a while ago, and Grandma was always the person I'd pick up the phone and call.
And she's listening still, honey.